Get ready to dive into the dark side of Hollywood, where fame isn't all glitz and glamour. These are the most hated celebrities then versus now. And first up, the celebrity that was loved by millions on screen but feared by his fellow comedians. Milton Berle, Mr. Television, was accused of stealing jokes from other comedians. That's a huge no-no in the comedy world, and it made him some serious enemies. As if that wasn't bad enough, Berle was also hit with accusations of sexual misconduct. He denied it all, but the damage was done. Despite his legacy in TV, his reputation took a serious hit. But trust me, the next name on this list will really make you rethink your favorite Hollywood stars. Did you know that Bette Davis, the iconic star of All About Eve, wasn't just a powerhouse on screen? She was also known for a love life that was filled with more drama than a Hollywood blockbuster. Let's talk about the 1930s, when Davis was married to musician Harmon Oscar Nelson. But that didn't stop her from getting into a scandalous affair with director William Wyler. And get this, Wyler was also married at the time. The two of them were inseparable, causing a major scandal in Tinseltown. Davis even said Wyler was the only man who truly captivated her heart. Imagine the headlines back then. But it didn't stop there. Davis's love life was a roller coaster. After 4 failed marriages, she faced accusations of infidelity and struggled with alcohol and gambling. Her personal life was a mess, but that didn't stop her from being a total boss on screen. She kept cranking out legendary performances, even as her personal life spiraled out of control. And when she passed away at 81 in France from breast cancer, she left behind a legacy that's as complex as it is impressive. Bette Davis wasn't just a star. She was a force to be reckoned with, both on and off the screen. But up next is a Hollywood queen whose real-life drama was as intense as the character she played. Vivien Leigh, the unforgettable Scarlett O'Hara from Gone with the Wind, had a life that was as tragic as it was glamorous. But did you know that behind her stunning performances was a woman battling severe mental health issues? Yeah, Leigh was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and it hit her hard. We're talking about intense mood swings, hallucinations, and deep depression. It was so bad that she had to be hospitalized multiple times. And her marriage to Laurence Olivier? It was one of Hollywood's golden couples, but it didn't stand a chance against her mental health struggles. In 1960, Leigh had an affair with actor Peter Finch, and that was the final nail in the coffin for her marriage to Olivier. After 20 years together, they called it quits, and the tabloids had a field day. Leigh's life was spiraling, but even then, she kept delivering unforgettable performances. But here's the heartbreaking part. Her life was cut short at just 53 years old by pulmonary tuberculosis. Despite all the chaos in her personal life, her role as Scarlett O'Hara remains legendary. Vivien Leigh's story is a tragic reminder that even the brightest stars can have the darkest shadows. And speaking of legends, John Wayne, the ultimate cowboy and tough guy, was a Hollywood icon. But off-screen, his life was full of controversy and scandal. Wayne was a hardcore supporter of the Vietnam War, which didn't sit well with Hollywood's liberal crowd. He didn't care, though. He spoke his mind and didn't back down, even if it made him enemies in the industry. But that's not all. Wayne's love life was just as wild as his movies. He had highly publicized affairs with some of Hollywood's biggest stars, including Ava Gardner, Maureen O'Hara, and Marlene Dietrich. These affairs didn't just make headlines. They also wrecked his marriage to Josephine Syons. Their divorce in 1954 was one of the biggest scandals in Hollywood, with everyone talking about it. Despite all the drama, Wayne's career didn't suffer. In fact, he starred in over 200 films and became a symbol of American masculinity. But let's be real, his personal life was as rugged as the roles he played. John Wayne was a legend, no doubt, but his life was far from perfect. Next up is an actress whose life behind the scenes was anything but glamorous. Patricia Neal was a Hollywood star who had it all: talent, beauty, and a career most people would kill for. But her personal life? It was a total mess. One of the biggest scandals of her life was her affair with Gary Cooper during the filming of The Fountainhead in 1949. Cooper was married at the time, but that didn't stop them. Their affair was anything but secret, and the press had a field day. Cooper's wife even confronted Neal, making the whole thing even more explosive. It was one of the biggest scandals in Hollywood at the time, and it seriously damaged Neal's reputation. But that wasn't the end of her troubles. Neil's personal life didn't get any easier after the affair. She went through several broken marriages, and each one was messier than the last. Despite all the drama, Neil managed to win an Oscar for her role in HUD. Her story is a perfect example of how fame can be a double-edged sword. Sure, she was successful, but her personal life was filled with heartache and scandal. And speaking of Hollywood bombshells who knew how to stir up controversy, Janet Leigh might be best known for her iconic role in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, but her off-screen life was anything but a thriller. It was a full-blown drama. Leigh's affair with Tony Curtis was one of the biggest scandals in Hollywood. They were both married to other people when they started seeing each other. And when the news broke, it was a total scandal. The tabloids went crazy and their affair became front-page news. Fans were shocked, and critics had a lot to say about their moral integrity, or lack thereof. But that wasn't the only drama in Leigh's life. Her career hit a few rough patches too. She starred in some controversial films that didn't exactly win over the critics, and her professional image took a hit. But even with all the drama, Leigh's talent shone through. Her performance in Psycho is still talked about today, proving that she was more than just a pretty face. Janet Leigh's life was a mix of Hollywood glamour and personal scandal, a reminder that sometimes the real drama happens off-screen. And trust me, the stories only get crazier from here. You won't believe what the next Hollywood star on this list did. Joan Crawford wasn't just a star, she was Hollywood royalty. But behind the glitz and glamour was a life filled with scandal, controversy, and some seriously dark secrets. Let's rewind to 1933. Joan found herself in the middle of a physical altercation with the wife of none other than Clark Gable. Why? Because rumors were swirling that Crawford and Gable were having an affair. And back in those days, Hollywood gossip was like gasoline one spark, and it could blow up your career. This scandal only fueled Crawford's reputation as a fiery and unpredictable force in the industry. She was already known for her intense performances, but now, she was getting known for her off-screen drama, too. But it gets even darker. The real bombshell came years later when her adopted daughter Christina dropped some shocking accusations. According to Christina, Crawford was far from the loving mother she appeared to be. We're talking about allegations of severe abuse, harsh scoldings, physical punishments, and bizarre restrictions like being forced to kneel for hours in the wine cellar. When Christina published her tell-all memoir, Mommy Dearest, it was like throwing a grenade into Crawford's legacy. The book caused a massive public outcry and forever tainted Crawford's image. Even with all the scandal, Joan Crawford remains an icon. Her performances are still legendary, but her personal life is a stark reminder that Hollywood isn't all sunshine and stardom. And next, we've got a bombshell actress whose off-screen antics made just as many headlines as her on-screen roles. Raquel Welch was the ultimate Hollywood bombshell. Stunning, talented, and totally unforgettable. But her beauty and talent weren't the only things that kept her in the spotlight. Behind the scenes, Welch was a magnet for controversy, and her off-screen drama often overshadowed her work. Let's talk about 1970. During the filming of Myra Breckinridge, Welch had a major falling out with veteran star Mae West. The tension between these two was legendary. Welch was the hot new star on the rise, while West was an established Hollywood icon, and their egos clashed in a big way. The drama spilled over both on and off set, with stories of power struggles and diva behavior. But the drama doesn't stop there. Welch was often labeled as haughty and difficult to work with. Directors, co-stars, crew members, they all had stories about her demanding attitude. And while her performances were undeniably impactful, her off-screen reputation often got in the way. She may have been a bombshell on the screen, but behind the scenes, she was a force to be reckoned with, for better or worse. Raquel Welch's career is a perfect example of how a star's off-screen life can sometimes overshadow their work. She was beautiful, talented, and oh so controversial, a combination that made her one of Hollywood's most talked about figures. And speaking of Hollywood icons, Tippi Hedren is best known for her roles in Alfred Hitchcock's classics, but her Hollywood story is filled with dark twists and turns that make her life more dramatic than any movie she starred in. Here's the scoop. Hedren's relationship with Hitchcock was nothing short of a nightmare. She accused the legendary director of inappropriate advances and overbearing control on set. It was a toxic environment that turned what should have been a career-defining partnership into a living hell. And when Hedren finally pushed back, Hitchcock blacklisted her.
No, this was sort of his MO. He had a tendency to become obsessed a little about all of his leading ladies,
making it nearly impossible for her to find work in Hollywood. But that's not all. Hedren was also criticized for how she managed her daughter Melanie Griffith's acting career. Some accused her of pushing Griffith into the spotlight for her own gain, and that didn't sit well with Hollywood insiders. Hedren's story is a reminder of the dark side of Hollywood, the power struggles, the exploitation, and the high cost of standing up for yourself. Even with all the controversy, Tippi Hedren's talent and resilience shine through. She might have faced more than her fair share of drama, but she never let it break her. And then there's a Hollywood legend whose activism made her one of the most controversial stars of her time. Jane Fonda isn't just a Hollywood star, she's a cultural icon.
The hell that works here?
Do you know where she is? I won't.
Oh, Duffy, you better get in line.
But her path to stardom was filled with controversy, activism, and some seriously polarizing moments. Let's rewind to the 1970s. Fonda's opposition to the Vietnam War made her one of the most controversial figures in America. The most infamous moment? Her visit to North Vietnam in 1972, where she was photographed sitting on an anti-aircraft gun used to shoot down American planes. That photo sent shockwaves across the country and earned her the nickname Hanoi Jane. The backlash was immediate and intense.
According to the Nuremberg principles, according to the Geneva Accord and others, they should be tried in front of a court and probably executed for what they did.
Veterans, politicians, and even some fans turned against her, calling her actions treasonous. But here's the thing, Fonda didn't back down. Despite the outrage, she continued to use her platform to speak out on issues she cared about. She apologized for the photo years later, but the incident remains a defining moment in her career. Love her or hate her, Fonda's activism is a big part of what makes her such a fascinating figure. She's a two-time Academy Award winner, a fitness guru, and a political lightning rod. Talk about a multifaceted career. Jane Fonda's life is proof that being a Hollywood star isn't just about what happens on screen. Sometimes it's about the battles you fight off screen too. And now, we've got an Italian beauty whose life was filled with scandal, drama, and some seriously iconic moments. Sophia Loren is a true Hollywood legend, known for her stunning looks and incredible talent. But behind the glamorous image lies a life filled with scandal, controversy, and enough drama to fill a dozen movies. Let's go back to 1958. Loren found herself in the middle of a major Hollywood scandal when she had an affair with Cary Grant during the filming of Houseboat. Grant was married at the time, and their relationship was the talk of the town. The media had a field day, and fans were shocked to see their favorite stars embroiled in such a scandal. But that's just the beginning. Loren was also known for her strong personality.
And then Cary Grant came in and he said, and I want you to see, we have a new girl here, her name is Laura Lolo Brigida.
Which didn't always win her friends in Hollywood. One infamous moment? When she was caught glaring at Jane Mansfield's revealing dress at a party, a moment that was immortalized in an iconic photo. Many saw Loren's expression as judgmental, adding fuel to the rumors that she was difficult to work with. And on set, Loren's assertiveness sometimes clashed with directors and co-stars, further solidifying her reputation as a diva.
And to make a beautiful film, acting and beautiful really as a director like Vittorio De Sica, which was a great teacher for me.
But despite all the drama, Loren's talent and beauty have kept her in the spotlight for decades. She's a legend of the silver screen, and her life off camera was just as captivating as any of her roles. And trust me, the next Hollywood scandal on our list will have you on the edge of your seat. Judy Garland, a celebrated star known for her roles in classics like The Wizard of Oz and A Star is Born, faced a life marred by intense personal strife and public scandals. From her early years, Garland was under immense pressure to perform, which led her to rely on stimulants to keep up with demanding schedules. This dependency spiraled into a lifelong battle with addiction, marked by repeated cycles of rehab, relapses, and emotional distress. Her struggles culminated in her premature death at 47 from an overdose. Garland's love life was equally fraught, characterized by 5 tumultuous marriages and divorces, often attributed to her unpredictable behavior. Now let's explore the most original star in the list. Errol Flynn was the original Hollywood bad boy, famous for his dashing roles in films like The Adventures of Robin Hood and Captain Blood. Let's rewind to 1942. That's when Flynn's life took a nosedive into scandal. 2 young women, Betty Hansen and Peggy Satterley, accused him of sexual misconduct at his Hollywood home and aboard his yacht. The accusations were explosive and rocked Hollywood to its core. Flynn was charged and faced a highly publicized trial in 1943 that captivated the entire nation. The courtroom drama was like something straight out of a movie, with Flynn's charm on full display as he defended himself. Despite being acquitted, the trial left a lasting stain on his reputation. Public sentiment wasn't exactly in his favor. Many believed he was guilty, and his image as the dashing hero was forever tarnished. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Flynn's personal life was a ticking time bomb. He was plagued by serious health issues, allegedly battling syphilis, and suffering the devastating effects of years of hard drinking and substance abuse. His lifestyle was a whirlwind of excess, with reckless partying and dangerous habits that took a heavy toll on his body and reputation. By the time he passed away at just 50 years old, Flynn's once glittering career had become overshadowed by the scandals, controversies, and wild rumors that seemed to follow him everywhere. The swashbuckling hero who captivated audiences on screen had become a tragic figure, his life defined as much by chaos as by cinematic triumphs. Yet, despite all the drama and darkness, Flynn's performances in those legendary adventure films have left an unforgettable mark on Hollywood. His legacy is a heady mix of undeniable talent and personal turmoil, a classic Hollywood story of rise, fall, and enduring fame. These were the most hated celebrities then versus now.